Hey everybody, it's Ember from the field. I'm filming this on Thursday the 6th. It's currently about 90 degrees at the farm, and and we cut out a little early today to go home and hydrate and get some shade. But one thing that we've been busy doing, or really Carrie's been really busy in the greenhouses with pruning and trellising our tomatoes. And we treat the tomatoes inside the greenhouse a little differently than what we do out in the fields. The way we trellis them and the amount of pruning we do. We have a bit more of a controlled environment inside the greenhouse, so we kind of want to make conditions perfect so that they can keep producing for as long as possible. The idea with pruning the plants is there's several reasons really. We want to make sure we have good airflow in the greenhouse, right, to reduce the chances of disease. And so by removing, part of the plant, by pruning, we remove some of that plant matter that might get in the way of good airflow. We want to make sure nothing's touching the ground because we can get soil-borne diseases that way. So we make sure all the bottom parts of the plant are clear. And by pruning, we're encouraging the plant to keep growing up and up and up as we trellis, and they put more energy in focusing on the leaders, they're called. We keep 1 to 2 leaders per plant, and that way they can focus their energy on making really good fruit on those plants. So it's just better quality fruit, easier picking for harvesting reasons, and also just lowering the chances of them getting any diseases. So let me just show you what's happening in here. So I'll just show you the cathedral here. All of these tomatoes are indeterminate varieties, so they will keep growing as long as they possibly can. Some of them get, definitely get up to the top bars here where we have spools of twine, and even grow up and over. Those are typically the cherry tomatoes. They will get that tall if we let them. So Carrie's been busy in here. As you can see, she's cleaned up the bottom here up until the first flower cluster, or now fruit cluster, just making sure that there's no leaves touching the ground. She then, as you travel up the plant, at each of these, let's see if I can focus, at each of these leaves, there can be a sucker that kind of starts growing. Let's see. There we go. You can kind of see one starting, a little tiny sucker, which will, if we let it, will grow and produce flowers and fruit. So, as this gets bigger, we'll come through and sort of, pinch those off so that it encourages the rest of the plant up top here to just keep growing. And in here, the trellising technique is with tomato clips. So I've got one here in my hand. The idea here is that at the hinge, right there, is where you can grab twine. You'd stick the twine in there, and then you put the stem of the tomato. Here, I'll just sort of demonstrate here. So you're clipping. There we go. Clipping there onto the twine, and then the idea is that, the tomato stem is in between, and that way it's like a nice, non-invasive, gentle way of clipping the actual stem of the tomato plant to the twine so it can go up and up and up and up. And another technique is to actually twist the plant. I think Carrie was doing a little bit of that in the cherry tomatoes because they get so tall that, if we need to get in here quickly and maybe tie things up, we'll twist the plant around the twine just to keep it propped up so it doesn't fall over, reducing the chance of any breakage or any flopping over. So you can see everything in here is nice and tall, standing straight up. And this has been a really great way to keep things clean, and to keep things growing. And what's also cool is we have these spools of twine that you can see up top, and you can actually, so when the plants reach the very top, we can actually lower the twine and lower the plant down, to give it a little more vertical space. And so again, as you know, as I said before, we don't want any leaves touching the ground. As we pick from the bottom and we're done with those fruit clusters, and as the plant gets tall enough where we can lower it back down, Carrie will prune the bottom parts of the plant so that anything that might be touching the ground is just no longer there. So it's a continuous process throughout the whole summer, and you know, ideally, if we keep up with the plants and take care of them, you know, they're producing, you know, through September and maybe even into October. All right, I hope you learned something new, and I want to make sure everyone knows how much we love tomatoes, and as much as you do, and we hope to have tomatoes for a long, long while. Maybe starting in August, we'll see, or the end of July. All right, I'll see you all soon. Bye.